Hi, I'm Dan from Endless Recording Studios.
I'm Rich.
And today we're reviewing an EVH 5153 50 watt head. This is one of the first generation models after they came from PV to Fender. Eddie started developing his stuff for Fender branded EVH stuff. This is a 3-channel amp, but it only has the controls for 2 channels. On the 50 watt, the 100 watt version has individual controls for all 3 channels. It has 6L6 tubes in this. So it is, and really versatile. Nice clean channel, great blue channel overdrive, and the red channel is the super high gain, EVH 5150 lead tone that you're used to hearing. For controls, we have the input. We have the gain, low end, mid, high, and the volume for the channel, and that's shared between the clean green channel and the dirty blue channel. And then the selector switch to go between the two of those. And then over here we have the same controls: gain, low, mid, high, and volume, with a selector switch to engage the red channel, and there's an overall presence, and you have your on LED. So like I said, the shared controls on this for the clean channels, it kind of sucks. It's one of the banes of anybody that has one of these amps, is you kind of have to pick which channel you want to run and just run it that way if you're going to do switching live. The volume jump is just too much if you have it set for a good clean and you have it set for a decent distortion one way or the other. The volume jump is drastic, and we'll show you that when we get into playing it. And around the back here, you have an IEC input for the main power, your fuse. You actually have your power and standby switches on the back of this amp, which is weird to me, but they wanted to save some real estate space. So your power, standby. You actually have a headphone out, because this has the somewhat of a simulated speaker output. You can do silent practice with it, right?
Yeah, I still like to keep it plugged in to keep the load on it.
Yeah, you still keep it plugged into the cab, but it'll shut. When you plug the headphones in, it shuts the cab off, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, so you can do silent practice with it and stuff, or use it as a lineup for recording.
Yeah, that's what I do at home a lot.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. That's a neat feature. We have a MIDI in, so you can use other control boards and things to control the channels. We have the foot switch for the included foot switch, which I'll show you in a second. The standard effects loop with send and return. We have another preamp out, so you can put it to a different power amp or something if you wanted to, or use a different setup. You have what's this here? Oh, the resonance knob. You can tailor your low end on this thing to fit your cab right with the resonance knob. Your impedance selector for 8 and 16 ohm for the outputs, and then your 2 speaker outs. That's pretty much it. Then we have what else do we have going on here, Rich?
LED strips going on.
Look at LED strip.
It's pretty sick.
Yeah. Let's plug it in real quick. All right, so now we've gone through the controls and everything. Let's dive into the sound. So we're on the clean channel now. Let's hear how that sounds. So that has a really nice clean channel, but a really versatile one too. We can get that was a pretty impressive gain out of that for being clean, and being able to clean it up as well as it does on the other side. I like that. So let's switch over to blue channel. Actually, we forgot to talk about the foot switch too. If we want, Nate, you want to get a shot of this? We got a nice foot switch, very basic though. Just channel 1, channel 2, channel 3, and turn on and off the effects loop. So nice and simple. But it does everything you need it to do. Big pet peeve of mine is when an amp has an effects loop, but not a foot switch for the effects loop. That Randall's had that, it drove me bananas. Yeah. Alright, switch to the green. So that's great. That it kind of picks right up where the on the low end. It picks right up where the clean channel leaves off. You kind of get the clean channel 10 and it starts right at the beginning on the blue channel. And I mean, the blue channel is enough gain for most people. Well, not shouldn't say most people, but as much as a lot of other amps on the market have. But now let's see what the red channel can do. Not even know. That's on play right now. That was amazing. That went from nothing to gain by like as soon as you cracked it open. That was it went from nothing to straight up gain as soon as you turned it on a little bit, almost as much gain as the blue channel had in it. And then as you went up, it just got gainier and gainier and gainier. So that's great for leads. And I noticed the seems a little bit more focused, a little bit more lead, like a little more compressed, a little bit more focused than the blue channel does.
Tight.
Yeah, it's really tight. The one thing I like about this amp too is the mid-range is very versatile as far as being able to scoop it or boost it, and it both sounds good. A lot of amps you kind of have to scoop the mids or kind of keep them in the mid, but if you boost them they sound like kind of weird. That Yamaha we just did a review of was like that. You know, it sounded really good if you just cut them or kind of left them in the middle, but as soon as you boosted them it kind of sounded weird. This one sounds great. You had that more Lamb of God kind of mid-range, you know, that very modern metal, thrash metal forward mid-range, but then if you scoop it, it has that really great scoop mid sound of, you know, new metal and older metal. So,
sure.
Yeah. What do you think, having your years owning this thing?
I love it. The only complaints I have is pretty much everyone that owns a 50 watt, you know, 5153 is that the clean and the blue channel share control, so you have that jump in volume go up.
Yeah. Which is something this is you know, we're recording this at right after the 2018 NAMM show, and they just debuted a version of this amp with concentric controls for those two to solve that issue too. But anybody that's interested in the older one, if that doesn't bother you, you can still pick up one of these and for a great sound. Or I heard some tell of them maybe even introducing a factory part to replace those two knobs to give them concentric, which would be awesome.
That'd be really nice.
Can you do that? Let's go from clean. Just play a chord and go from 1 to 2 just to show the guys real quick. Pretty much makes it unusable live situation to be able to click between them. You kind of got to pick which you want this controls to be. Do you want to use it for clean? Do you want to use it for the blue channel? And you kind of got to go with that. Mm-hmm. For recording and studio purposes and stuff, obviously, yeah, you can just switch between them and can change the knobs and get whatever you want out of it. But all right, well, I think that concludes our review of this amp. It's kind of quick and dirty. Let's get through it, show you what it can do. Again, I'm Dan.
I'm Rich.
And we'll see you next time.